Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Binance Coin. There is a link up above for the higher time frame video. Check that out if you want to have a look at the higher time frame counts. Let's get into the price action and see what's going on. Okay, so primarily what we're going to discuss is the potential that we're looking for this connector wave here, looking for this as an X wave, looking to actually break to the downside. So the rejection zone we're looking for is between this 517 to this 354. Technically speaking, we have already come up into this, so we need to be cautious that price doesn't actually start to break down, though at the moment it is looking like we are still within this structure. So what we'd be looking for then, it would be something along these lines. We're treating this as a W, X, and then we're looking for this as a Y wave to the upside. So what we're looking for as a target for this would be up towards this yellow 1-to-1, which would be here of this 477. Although technically speaking, we have actually come up to the 0.618, which would be a minimum level for the Y wave. So we need to be cautious if we do start to break down in a bigger way. It's possible that we could have actually completed this lower down here, and we've actually just moved up towards the 0.618. Though if we want to allow for the possibility of continuation here, we could actually see, continuation up towards this 477. Now, what I would be looking for here is the potential that we'd be looking at something like this, where this is an A, this is a B, and then we're looking for the C wave. So the C wave 1-to-1 is also sitting up here towards this 398 level. So this would be towards the lower end of this target box. Also would be looking to retest this high here at this 398.6 that we have to the left hand side. Now the problem that we have here is that if this is looking to extend to the upside from where it is currently, we'd have to argue that instead of this being a B, and a C, what we could possibly have here is either there's extension within this leg that we have in front of us, where this is going to become 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're going to look to progress up. Or alternatively, we'd have to say that this is W, this is X, and then we'd be looking at this as A, B, and C. Now, if that's the case, what we could actually look for is a push up towards that 1-to-1 in a 3-wave move, which would push us up towards this 394. Now, if this is the case, what we would not want to see happen here is we wouldn't want to really move down below this 286. Now, it's possible that we've already completed this move. Looking at the structure here, we do have a double bottom here, so it is possible that price could start to move away from this level. However, if we fail to maintain this, I would be looking down lower here towards this 298.4, all the way down to the 786 lower down here at this 286.2. So as long as we hold this zone, we could still look for potential to continue to the upside here in this additional leg. But if we start to lose the 786, it becomes less likely. So this is partly because of the fact of what it is. And, when we get a 786 retracement, once we start to push through that level, it becomes less likely we're going to see continuation up. Although, we also need to just bear in mind that once we start to lose this level of support here, possibly what we could see is price action falling back down to this next level of support. So this would actually invalidate the potential of what we're looking at here. The other way we could argue that this is playing out is that we could still see this play out, but we could actually be forming our connector wave here. So this is still looking at the idea of this as an A, a B, and a C, except the B wave is not complete. So what I'm keeping an eye out on here is if we do get a bigger 5-wave move to the downside, what we could see is a C wave play out here, where we have this as an A wave, this is a 3-wave move up for a B, and then basically what we're looking for is continuation to the downside in a 5-wave sequence. Now, the wave 2 location for this would actually be here towards this 398 to this 324 typically. We haven't actually come up to that, and I'm going to throw this 382 to see. We haven't even reached this 382 either, so it's making it less likely that this is the case here. That, I would say that if we are looking at breaking down like this, we could actually form this as an A wave. We get a shorter B wave here and then another C wave to the upside, which could look to bring us back into these levels. However, if this is rather just an A, a B, and a C and is completed, what this could mean is we start to break down here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the target area we'd be looking for this as a wave 3 would actually be lower down. So I'm just going to throw this fib onto this. So if this was to develop as a regular impulse, what we would need to see is a move much lower down here towards this 245.4 for a confirmation of a 3rd wave. Now, what I'm looking for instead here is that possibly this move here is actually a diagonal pattern. So what we'd be looking for is effectively this is a wave 1, This is a wave 2. Then we'd be looking for another 3-wave move for a wave 3, where this becomes A, B, and C for this wave 3. Now this wave 3 is not allowed to cross this 270.8 level if this is the case, before looking for an additional 4th and a 5th wave to the downside. So this would actually be looking to target out lower down in this target area. What we've talked about before is the potential that this 1-to-1 could be challenged if it is going to be a running flat. However, if it's going to be an expanding flat, the target we're looking for is between this 261 to this $238 level. That would be our zone we'd be looking for as a potential target. Now, moving down into this level, we can see here that we do have this target box that I have drawn. So within this target box, I would be looking out at the potential of actually swing fading this A wave here, and then potentially looking to actually come down and take out these naked points of control that we have here towards this 261 to this 258 level. So this would actually bring us down into this lower range here, this 261.5 to this 252.5 as well. Could be quite an interesting level to keep an eye on here if we do come into this. This would also be looking to back test some of these previous levels of support. So I would be keeping an eye on this as a potential support zone where we could actually look for price to move up directly at that point. Now, the other thing that we also discussed here previously was that instead of looking at this move as WX and looking for a Y wave up, it's possible that this whole thing could be a triangle where this becomes A, B, C, and we're actually looking for a D wave. So this is why I'm just being mindful that if we do see this break down in 3 waves here, what we could then see is this D wave come in towards this lower range of this trend line, which would be sitting towards this 268 level. Now this would actually tie into coming back into this speed fan line as well, which is sitting here down at this 269. It would also look to retest this low area here that we have, and we can see that, you know, the wicks, that when prices come in here, it's been bought up quite quickly. So this would be quite an interesting zone to see if we do have a reaction. Now within this count, we're looking for this as A, B, and C. What we want to see is price action starting to break down here in a 5-wave move, looking to target out this lower area. Now, if this is what we are actually looking at as a potential count, we'd be looking for that possibility of actually coming down towards this 1-to-1, which would be here at this 268.9. So that would be a very interesting level if we do start to break down. Obviously with this, if we do see price action come back up here and take this high, this would invalidate the idea of this as a triangle. But until we do, we need to just be mindful that we could see a 3-wave move to the downside here for this as a D wave, and then actually looking for a 3-wave move up for this E wave here towards this 326 area. Now this would be looking at this as a connector triangle here, which would mean that we'd have this as A, this is B, and then we'd be looking to break down in that C wave that we talked about in the macro video. So if you haven't watched that, make sure that you go check that out. With regards to the triangles, we also need to just be cautious, because one other way that we can look at this is that we could actually have this as a 4th wave triangle where this is A, B, C, D, and then we're actually looking for this E wave. So this touch point here, if we do form a 3-wave move down, it's going to be quite important, because if this is actually a 4th wave triangle, what this could then mean is that we are actually looking to move to the upside after this point here. So we need to just be aware that if we do see this start to push up from this E wave, where we start to break back above some of these key levels, this could actually mean that we are actually looking for this 5th wave target already, which would be this 1483 to this 932 level. So what we'd want to see here, if this is a triangle in this position, is a 3-wave move down, and then we would want to see 5-wave structure developing to the upside, and it should be quite strong based off of the fact that we have this triangle here. The thing is, if this is a triangle in this way, this would mean that this is a pre-terminal move. So once we complete this, we'd be looking for a deeper retracement again from off the back of it. So it would mean that we'd see a short move to the upside here before rejection and actually starting to break down. Okay, so talking about the bullish count that we had previously, we were treating this as a potential wave 1, 2, and then looking for this possibility of a 3rd wave to the upside. This 3rd wave is still technically possible, but we need to see a move up past this 588 area. And what we'd be arguing is that this move is actually starting to extend out here and starting to push to the upside. So if this is the case, what we need to see is price action follow through here. We don't want to see this move sideways if we're looking for this as a 3rd wave. Now, the way that I would be looking at this is that potentially within this count, we would be looking at this as a 1-2, another 1-2 here, and actually looking for a bigger push to the upside. So this as a third wave would be looking for the target area here of this 552. So that would be this wave 1 here. Now if we are looking at this as a secondary 1-2 here, we'd be looking for this 463 as a third wave target. Now within the count that we're looking at here, we could argue that this could be a corrective move completed, where this is W, this is X, and this is Y, in which case we could then start to move away here where these form an additional 1-2, 1-2, but we need to see price action follow through. If this is the case, what we'd be looking for would be a move up above this $329 level. We need to see price action start to break away from this zone. Alternatively, if this is not completed and we are looking at that possibility of a flat here where this is A, B, and C, we could still see price action move down here towards this zone of this 293 to this 291. So that would tie into that idea of actually coming into this zone here of this 1236 at this 293.5 to this 287.3, which would be that 1.382. However, even if price did move down lower, we could still potentially find support here at this 277. But really, once we start to push down below this $280 area, we need to be careful that this possibility of this count becomes less likely. Invalidation of this 1212 comes at this 264. So as long as we actually continue to set higher lows here and higher highs, we can potentially look for this to play out. But what we'd want to see here is we want to see price starting to move to the upside here, and we'd want to see the volume starting to pick up as well. We need to see volume following price here and seeing nice big strong volume within this move for further confirmation that we're in a third wave. Failure to get that would actually mean that we're probably going to see continuation to the downside. And this is just going to be a corrective move up, and then we're going to look for that break to the downside. So we need to just be cautious that even if we did see this play out as A, B, C towards this 392 area, like we were talking about previously, into this high, we need to be cautious of a rejection here, and then actually looking to break down one more time for that Y wave. If we were looking at this, like I said, we'd need to see price action follow through here, because if this is the case, this would be 1-2, this would be 1-2, this would be 1-2. So we'd be in the third wave of the third wave effectively, and we would want to see this be a nice strong move to the upside with good volume if it is the case. Another thing that we were discussing previously was looking at this potential of a diagonal. So this is actually still viable here. We'd have to then treat this as A, this is some kind of a triangle in here, and this is a C if that's the case, and we'd be looking for this as a fourth wave. Now invalidation of this would actually come by taking this low again here, which would be at this 299.5. If we stay above that, we could actually see this start to develop some kind of a 5-wave move up here for wave A, then a B, and a C, looking for this possibility of a diagonal up here. So if we rather see this start to play out in a 3-wave move up here, I would still be keeping an eye on this top trend line that we have and looking for that possibility of this 5th wave to develop in a diagonal pattern here. Now the difference is here that if we want to look at this breakout here as within a diagonal, what we'd be then looking for off the back of this would actually be a 3-wave move to the downside. Now that support we'd be looking for here would be this 284 to this 245. We'd want to see price maintain above this level, and then we'd want to see a bigger third wave to the upside. Now this third wave would have to be a lot higher, would have to push us up towards this zone of this 615 for confirmation, and we'd need to see this obviously have good structure and we have good volume. Then we'd be looking for that possibility of additional 4th and a 5th, and that could look to push us up towards this 759 to this 670 level. Now these are all possible, but we need to see the price action follow through. So if we are looking for this bullish standpoint here, what we want to see is we want to see either this move complete as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come back down here, get a nice strong move to the upside. Or alternatively, if this is 1, 2, 1, 2, we want to see this price action start to follow through and break back above these highs. If we just move along sideways here, it becomes more likely that this whole move is corrective here, and what we'd have to do is then really watch this lower range of this 245. Losing that would make the bearish count be more likely, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.